Hi, I'm Dr. Manette Riordan, along with my husband, Brad Dobson. We're the Path to Profit podcast, where we share tips and strategies and tools and bring you amazing guests to support you on your entrepreneurial journey, especially on that journey, the part of the journey where you're making profit in your business, because none of us wants to be working that hard with not a lot to show for it. So we're super excited to have as our guest one of my good friends, colleagues, and an amazing online business manager, Tracey Osborne. Welcome, Tracey.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you. So Tracey, we always start the show with a quote. So it may or may not flow into our conversation. We'll just see where it takes it. But the quote today is from Arianna Huffington, who wrote, "We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes. Understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success."
Oh my gosh. So I can take that and run with it in so many directions.
You're having a happy Monday set of failures.
Not yet. Knock on wood.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
No, so far today's gone good, but failure happens on a daily basis, and failure is how we grow.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah. So before we start down our conversation, Brad's going to share with everybody that's listening a little bit about Tracey and why we're super excited to have her as part of our conversation today.
I love the way this is written. Tracey is known as the entrepreneur's secret weapon. I like it. An accomplished.
Actually, Manette coined that phrase for me.
Oh, did you really? I love that.
She's my secret weapon for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
An accomplished virtual assistant of almost a decade. So you've been doing this. Yeah, that's cool.
It'll be a year in November. 10 years in November.
Tracey Osborne specializes in all things strategic, online business management, launches, funnels, and telesummits. Known as the entrepreneur's secret weapon, Tracey works with 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs to streamline, automate, and grow their business. By removing the stress of daily operations, Tracey allows her clients the focus and freedom to do whatever it is that they do best, thus resulting in heightened profit and growth. Using her decades worth of experience, Tracey also teaches and coaches women to build a lucrative business as a virtual professional. She is the author of the widely popular book, Becoming a VA, The Key to Unlocking the Virtual Assistant Industry. Welcome again, Tracey. And I love this because a virtual assistant is like your first instant team. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to go out and hire somebody as a W-2 employee or whatever it is. You call them up and they're ready to hit the ground running, which is pretty cool. And I know that I personally have struggled with adding team because of the complexity of that. But at the same time, if you don't add team, you run into trouble because you can't do the things that you help people with, which is to let them focus on their unique brilliance.
Yeah, and so let's just back it up and get really, really basic here, because a lot of people that are listening may not even know what a virtual assistant is. So Tracey, maybe you could just talk a little bit about what a virtual assistant is and what are some of the common things they do.
Yeah, absolutely. So virtual assistant is a business owner just like yourself. We work online, of course, remotely. And we help you do all that stuff that has to get done every day in your business, but it doesn't necessarily have to get done by you. So things like booking your podcast guests, getting the show write-ups done, those kinds of things, your newsletter, your blog, posting to your social media, finding speaking engagements. I'm trying to run down the list of all the things I do for everybody. Managing your website, the list is endless, what we can do.
But so what I love about this it's often what a virtual assistant can do are the repetitive tasks that need to happen on a recurring basis that are super important, usually especially to our marketing and operations, but yet they don't directly make us money. So, we're not out, the more that we can be out selling as the face of our business, the more successful we'll be. Yet I find so many people hiding behind their computers or using the excuse, I have to do all this stuff, when really it takes me twice as long. So I worked with you, Tracey, for 3 or 4 years as our virtual assistant, which was amazing and fabulous. And what I realized was that your team could do things in a half or even a quarter of the time that it took me. Even though I'm technologically savvy and I knew how to do all this stuff, I was slow. and I was disorganized and I was last minute. So for me, working with a VA also served the purpose of getting me organized, getting systems in place.
Yeah, because if you want your stuff sent out on time, you got to get it to us on time.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing. So would you just talk a little bit about how do people get started with a virtual assistant?
Oh, wait, I have a question before, because we were talking about basics.
Yeah.
So is this mostly technology help, or is it other types of help too? Because I read, like a lot of people, you read the 4-Hour Work Week from Tim Ferriss, and he's talking about there's people talking about outsourcing everything, right? Mm-hmm. Some guy outsourced being good to his wife or something, just ridiculous things like that.
Yeah.
And so what do you have a focus specifically on technology, or is it really anything?
So there's different types of virtual assistants. Let's talk about that really quick. You have what I call your general admin, who is generally new to the industry. They're coming in from corporate. They're a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is. They've got limited technical skills, but they can do things like managing your inbox, scheduling calls, managing your schedule, booking your travel, that kind of stuff that an executive assistant would do for you. Being a gatekeeper, they're really good at that. And that's very crucial, very needed. I know for me, I spent years not wanting to outsource my email because I didn't want anybody else managing my email. And as soon as I finally broke down and did, I was like, why did I wait 8 years to do this? So it's a very important thing that they do. And then we move on to the technical people, and they handle all the technical stuff, your website, your newsletters, all that kind of stuff. Then we have what I call the Jack or Jill of all trades. And they are the VA who's been doing this for a few years, and they know a little bit about a lot of things. And that's generally where most of us kind of fall into after a couple of years, and we just kind of get stuck there. We're good at doing a lot of little things, but we don't specialize. And that's okay. If that's where they want to go, that's okay. Not everybody wants to specialize. And then we go into the specializations. So you have your online business manager, which is where I specialize. And we go in, it's like a chief operations officer. So we're managing your team, we're managing the projects, we're creating the strategies and the launches and the funnels, and we're doing all of that and managing all the moving pieces and parts. We're watching the numbers and everything. So we get really down deep into your business. And then you have what kind of gets lumped under the category of a virtual assistant, but I don't really think they are. I call them virtual professionals instead. So you have your social media managers, copywriters, graphic designers, web designers, the ones that specialize, and that's all they do. So those are the different kind of categories of a virtual assistant. So depending on where your business is and what your needs are, you may have one VA or you may have several VAs. Or you may have, several VAs and an online business manager or OBM, so it just depends on where you're at.
And so is that for people that are interested in paying for this type of service, this is purely a service-based, charge your credit card type of thing. This isn't something where we need to tell the government with a 1099 or things like that as an employee, or how does that work?
So yes, it is a 1099.
Okay.
1099 is a subcontractor. They are different from an employee. Employees get W-4s. We get 1099s. Anything over $600 a year, you do send out a 1099 for. And there are certain guidelines that designate between a subcontractor and an employee. So I would highly recommend you just go to irs.gov and read those outlines. It's things like you can't tell them what hours they can work and things like that. So
I see.
And I think it's the flexibility. Also, it's that you have multiple clients, right? That a virtual assistant doesn't work solely for you.
Right. So we have multiple clients. So we're not sitting at a computer for 8 hours twiddling our thumbs and painting our nails, waiting for you to send us work. Like we would, if we were in the office. You see the secretaries in the movies and they're doing their nails because there's nothing else to do, but they're still getting paid. We only work, or we only charge you, and you're only paying us for the times that we work.
Yeah. So it's such a great solution. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, it's a great solution for that entrepreneur who's like getting close to six figures, realizing that they can't do it. I think the question that I hear a lot from our clients is, when do I hire a VA? And my answer is always as soon as possible. So, but what do you find the sort of sweet spot for where people are in their business when they know they're ready for a VA?
So, I always say, when you hit that point where your head is swimming, you hate what you do because you're so overwhelmed, you're so busy, you're dropping the balls, you can't service your clients, your newsletter's not getting out on time, then you've passed the point where you actually need to hire a VA. You want to hire a VA before you hit that point. Dollar-wise, it varies. 50,000 and up, I would say. Yeah. You could start small. You don't have to start with thousands of dollars a month spending out to your virtual assistant, or $100 a month. You can start small, outsource a couple of hours, 4 or 5 hours at $20 an hour, of handling just some general admin stuff. That's 4 or 5 hours of your time back that you could be billing a client $100, $150 an hour for.
So if I'm at that point where I'm ready to hire a VA, where do I start, right? So I get a lot of people asking me for referrals. So I tend to refer out you or someone else that I know personally, right? So, but if you don't know someone or aren't familiar with the concept, what's a great place to look?
Facebook. Facebook is phenomenal. Go to your groups that you're in. If you're networking and you're out there on Facebook, you're in marketing groups, you're in business groups, you're in,
it's a great idea.
Mastermind groups, that's the word I'm trying to come up with. Go to them. Say, hey, look, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. Who do you recommend? Take that back. Don't say that. Don't say that. Because you go into a group and you say, hey, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. All of a sudden you have 100 people going, hey, I'm a VA. What do you need?
Yeah.
The first thing you actually really want to do is you've got to figure out what it is that you need to outsource. And so I always recommend you shadow yourself for a couple of days. It's a 48-hour exercise. Set a timer. Every 20 minutes, write down what you've done in that 20-minute time block. Reset your timer. At the end of 2 days, if you make it that long, it is tedious, but it's very eye-opening. At the end of 2 days, you'll have two things. You'll have a list where you can get started with your virtual assistant, where you can start delegating. You'll also find out where you're wasting your time and where your time sucks are. So you'll find out, wow, I'm spending more time in my inbox on Facebook than I really realized I am. So it's actually a very eye-opening exercise.
Yeah, I love that. It's one of the things that I wrote about in my book, A Time Management System for Creative Entrepreneurs, was time audit, right? And figure out what your time eating gremlins or time sucks are.
Right.
It's amazing the
first thing I teach people.
How eye-opening it was for us to do that.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it.
He's like, he didn't want to do it. He's like, don't share my story.
Right. I think I made you do that way back in the beginning too, because you're like, I'm not really sure what I should be outsourcing. I'm like, do this.
Yeah.
So it's always one of the first things, especially if you've never worked with a VA before. I always tell people to do that, and they come back to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, where my leaky buckets are and what I can outsource. So that's the first thing. So now you have your skill set, you need to figure out what kind of a person you want to work with. It's almost like creating your perfect client avatar. You want to create your perfect VA avatar as well.
Nice.
So what qualities are you looking for? What skills are you looking for? What are their background like? Do you want somebody who has kids? Would you rather have somebody who does not have kids? Do you want somebody who's fun and happy going, or do you want somebody who's more formal and professional? So you need to figure out those qualities. And it depends on your business. Every business is different. I have worked with people who are very formal and very professional. That doesn't mesh with me. I am so not. I'm very laid back and fun and bubbly, and I like to joke around and have a good time, but I get stuff done. So you need to figure that out. Once you figure that part out, now you can create a quote unquote job posting. I call it a partner post, because you're not hiring an employee, you're partnering with somebody. You're becoming a partner in your business. So you want to create a partner post, and you want to put in there a couple of paragraphs. This is me, this is my company, we're looking for this. These are the skills that I'm looking for. These are the qualities that I'm looking for. Do you want a certain time zone? Do you want, do they need to be available certain hours of the day? Not that they have, it's not mandatory, but you would prefer if you could reach them between 9 to 5 Eastern time, or, whatever. So you need to list all that. Do you want them US based? Or is it okay for the Philippines and the Indian people to apply for this? So you need to figure all that stuff out. What is your budget? This is huge. You need to put your budget in there, because that way when people are reading these posts, and if I come along and I'm reading your post and you can only afford $25 an hour, I'm going to skip over that and maybe tag some people in there that I know that are new. That would be great for that. So budget is very important. It saves a lot of time and hassle. And then how do they contact you? And this is really important, and this is a test for them. So you want people who are detail oriented, right? So in your post, you need to give them instructions on how to contact you. So I always say, I have a certain subject line. You must email me with this subject line. Don't post in the comments. Don't private message me. Include this, this, and this, and this in your email. And then somewhere in my post, I'll put in kind of a hidden instruction. Say something like, when you reach out to me, let me know what your favorite food is or what your favorite color is, because I want to make sure they've read the whole thing. And so this does a couple of things. When you go into your groups and you start posting, then as people start responding, you can quickly weed out those ones who are not a good fit. The ones who don't follow the instructions, they sent the wrong subject line, they didn't answer all the questions, they didn't see your hidden question. I've had them private message me after I specifically said, do not private message me, do not post in the comments.
Yeah.
But, so those quickly just get nixed. And then you go through, actually first I look for the subject line. If they don't have the right subject line, fine, they're gone. Then I go through and I look for, did they answer my questions? Did they send the required information that I've asked? No, bye. And it may sound like we're getting rid of some possibly good candidates, but we're not, because this is telling you that they're not detail oriented. And if they can't follow your instructions just to apply for your position, well, how are they going to be to work with?
Yeah.
Then that leaves you with a handful of really good candidates that you then, step back. After I check to see if they followed all the instructions, then I read their answers. Are they fun? Are they bubbly? Do they sound canned? And if they sound canned, if they sound boring, I cut them out. It's a gut call. I go by my gut a lot. My gut runs my business. And then you're left with, 4 or 5 really good ones that you can then set up a call and have an interview with.
I love that. I mean, Tracey's just giving you a perfect process.
Yeah.
Not just for
great example of the process too.
Not just for interviewing a VA. You could use that for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You just got my whole course in crash course there.
When I had my publishing company, we had a similar process for sales applicants for sales team, right? And it's the most important thing for me was that they would write a cover letter, right? And how many of them would just send their resume with no cover letter, right? And it's like, boom, they're gone because they didn't read, they didn't take the time. I learned more always from a cover letter than I ever did from just reading somebody's resume. So I love that. And can I just say, I know a lot of you are listening on iTunes, but if you're watching on YouTube, she has this pretty pinkish peaches jacket on, and your fingernails match every time you flash your fingernails.
Actually, my fingernails are kind of an orangey color, but in the light they do look pink.
They totally, it looks like you're all just like so,
One of my bright pink breast cancer jackets on.
Nice, very nice. I love it.
Breast cancer stuff.
Yes.
I have a question about whether on the VA side of things or on the person hiring the VA side of things. The difference between someone who's very high touch, a customer who's very high touch, compared to someone who just wants to have the work get pushed out to the VA and not think about it. So there's a lot of different range there. Some people, they can't describe to you what their processes are, which is terrible. Everybody should have great processes.
Yeah, but Tracey is brilliant at helping you create process, right? As part of your gift as
that's what I do,
business manager, right? Was helping me create the processes.
Right, but
she loves us creatives, by the way.
I guess people should go into it knowing that if they're not sort of procedure oriented, or if they don't have that type of mindset, you're going to have some growing time just to get those processes underway.
Yeah.
So the really cool thing is, while you're delegating these tasks to people, you can say, look, while you're doing this the first couple of times, I want you to create an SOP or a standard operating procedure around this. So it's going to take them a little bit longer those first few times they're doing something. If your newsletters, this is really great for the repetitive stuff, your newsletter, updating websites, stuff like that. That's repetitive. You have them create that SOP in the beginning. Then you guys have a living document. You go back and tweak it as things change and things get done differently, whatever. But if something happens and your VA disappears, it doesn't work out, whatever, now you have this process that you can just hand off to the next person and say, I need this done, here you go. So you just have them do it. It'll cost you a few extra bucks in the beginning, but now you've got the process and the document in the end.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. I love that. That's such great insight.
Yeah, you can't say enough about how valuable that is.
We've been talking a lot about systems and how important systems are on the show. So I know, Brad and you and Brad and speak the same language, talking about how important systems are.
For me, for years, I shied away from systems. You said the word system and my head started swimming because I didn't get it. And all a system is just a step-by-step. 1, 2, 3. This is how you do it. It's very simple.
Yeah, it's instructions.
It's elaborate. It is. It's just an instruction manual on how to do something. It's just called a system or a standard operating procedure or whatever you want to call it. But it's just a step-by-step instruction. I don't make them fancy. Bam, 1, log into the account. Bam, 2, go here. Here's a screenshot, Yeah. And that's what I do. It takes me a couple hours to create one, depending on what it is. Or the other thing too that I do is I will use Snagit and I will record a video of me doing something. And so then I can go and just say, here's the video. Go watch this video and go do it. Or I'll send it off to one of my team members and say, go watch this video and make me a handwritten SOP on it, will you? So that's another good way to do things. So if you're not system oriented and you don't really know how to explain something, just do it one time and record yourself.
That's so brilliant, because I think that's really hard for entrepreneurs, is that we hold so much in our heads, and it's not that we don't have systems. We may not call it that, or, a way that we do tasks, but we don't know how to get it here into a format someone else can use it.
Yeah. Organized chaos can be a system.
Erin Brockovich, she had her system. It was just all in her head, right?
Right. So and creating a standard operating procedure takes time. It takes a little while. You've got to get all your steps done. You got to take screenshots of things and that kind of stuff. So, create a quick video and send it off to your VA, and then they can write the long version.
Yeah, but at least you have something that's repeatable and also saves you money, because it saves them time. If they're having to reproduce a procedure or a non-existent procedure out of their head every time, it's going to take a lot of time. Mm-hmm. It's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah. So I would love to hear a little bit more about some of the special things that you work on, just because I think it's language that entrepreneurs need to understand. So, one of the things you said in your bio is that you help people with launches and funnels and telesummits. So I think one of the things that sets you apart is that you have a lot of information and knowledge about things, especially in the coaching industry, that are going on and what coaches are doing. So although they work for every industry. So can you just speak a little bit about launches, funnels, and telesummits and how you can support people with those?
Sure. So, because I spent so many years as a Jill of all trades, I did learn a lot. And so I was able to take those skills and turn them around and start specializing in those areas that I really love. And I love the stuff that requires a lot of strategy and planning. So that is the telesummits, the launches, the funnels. You've got to be launching. Your funnels are important because you've got to be building your list. The money's in your list, right? So you've got to be building that list. You need a funnel for it. Telesummits are a great way to get your message out, position yourself as an expert, and grow your list. You can grow your list by several thousand in a good telesummit. So that's really important. And launches, if a launch is done right, you can make thousands of dollars. If the lunch is done poorly, you can make $10,
Yeah, right. Or lose thousands of dollars.
Exactly. So, you know, it's very important that if you don't know what you're doing, that you hire somebody who does.
Yeah, so let's so it's something we haven't really talked on the show about, but I think it's an important topic for the entrepreneurs that are listening. What's a funnel?
It's this thing that's in the kitchen. You put it in.
I know.
So a funnel is a way to get people from your freebie stuff down into your high-end packages.
Yeah.
So you start at the top, you've got your freebie, and you're getting hundreds and hundreds of leads on top of this. And then you're pushing them down to your high-end package by giving them a $7 product, a $27 product, a $47 product, and you have a webinar, and then you have this, that, and the other, and then ultimately they end up buying your course. So by the time they get down to the bottom of the funnel, they're very prime, they're very hot, they love what you do, they love your message, and they've got their credit card ready and waiting for you.
And I think this is where I see a lot of new people, especially in the coaching industry, really struggling, right? Is they spend probably, because I like to flip that funnel upside down and make it a pyramid.
Yeah, build it backwards.
And build it backwards and go for the high-end clients first. But, you know, it's something that Brad and I have been talking a lot about in our own business, that he's been talking about in his mastermind group, is that top of funnel, about pulling those leads in. And so I'm just curious, because you work with so many different people and types of businesses, what are you seeing that's working really well with free lead magnets right now? What are your clients loving?
Facebook ads are working great still. You know, people say that they're not, but if you have a good freebie and you've got your demographics down, Facebook ads are still working really well. As long as you've got to have a captivating headline, it's got to be hitting a pain point. That's crucial.
Yeah.
It can't be, you know, you can't be selling something. It's got to hit that pain point, and you've got to provide a solution. Jeff Walker's Sideways Sales Letter works phenomenal. And for those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, that is a 3-video series. You have 3 videos, 10 to 20 minutes long. They hit a particular pain point. They present a solution, and then they say what the next pain point is. I'll solve that in the next video. And then the next video does the same thing. And then the 4th video can either be a sales video to upsell them into a course, so you can push them into a webinar where you then upsell them into a course or something like that. But this 3-video series works super, super well. It's something you create it once, you put it on evergreen, so it can just keep running over and over again. For reports, work really well, depending on what area of business you're in. If you're in the woo-woo side, meditations work great, audios work great, creative stuff, you know, painting, free. I see a lot of the free doodles and the adult coloring pages out there nowadays. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just depending on who your audience is, depends on what kind of freebie. But business related, I see a lot with the 3 sales or the 3 videos, and those work really, really well.
Yeah, that's great insight. So now this is my favorite question. It's why I saved it for last, right? So what not to do in a partnership with your virtual assistant, because it's tricky, right? I feel so lucky. I had one virtual assistant, she was awesome, right? And it never felt hard or complicated, right? So, but I hear so many horror stories, Tracey, of people's, like you said it earlier, VAs disappear, fall off the map, don't get things done, right? So what not to do?
So I've lived on both sides of the fence as a VA and as a client who hires VAs.
Yeah.
So I have horror stories from both ends. Number 1, hire slow, fire fast. If you follow my method, it helps you to really weed out all the crap and all the undesirables, all the ones that don't fit well, and you get the cream of the crop. So hire slow, fire fast. As soon as you get somebody in there, give them, 2-3 weeks, months tops. If they are still making the same mistakes repeatedly, they are not getting things done, give them the benefit of the doubt the first couple of weeks. There are growing pains, right? But if they're making careless errors, typos, they're not checking, improving stuff, get them out, get into the next one. So hire slow, fire fast. Try not to micromanage. It's really tough in the beginning.
Yeah.
Micromanaging tends to put extra pressure on the VA. I know me personally, if I have a client who's micromanaging, I will make mistakes because I will start second guessing myself. And it just, even though they're not here, I can feel them breathing down my neck. So I will fire a micromanaging client in a heartbeat. I had an online business management client that I hired her, or we partnered together a few months ago. Within the first 2 weeks, I'd already given my notice. I was like, no, not happening. And she backed off. But it was just who she was. And I'm like, you either need to back off or we're done. So don't micromanage. It is tough, but you've got to give up that control. Praise them. And this is really important. Give kudos. And one of the best kudos you can do is if they're doing a phenomenal job, give them a shout out on Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that. That is one of the I'd rather get that than money any day. Well, take it back. And a bonus. I'm on my paycheck.
I want to get paid and paid.
But,
yeah.
It's just one of the best ways of saying I really appreciate what you're doing is giving a shout out to your tribe, because that means you trust them and you value them, and they need to know that on a regular basis. They're going to make mistakes, and the way you handle that is very important. Take it as a learning opportunity. Now, if it's a huge mistake, and you have to kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. But I have clients who will freak out at the smallest of things. The subject line has a typo in it, or we're gonna make mistakes. I can't catch every single one of them, no matter how hard I try. You've got to give them the benefit of the doubt to a point. Ask them, okay, how are we gonna fix this? And then what are you gonna do next time to make sure this doesn't happen?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I teach my VAs too. Own your mistake. Apologize for it. Tell them, this is what I'm going to do to fix it, and this is what I'm going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's what clients want to know. They just want to know that you're owning it, and that you're going to fix it, and that you're going to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. So, just give them the benefit of the doubt. Try not to freak out too much, unless it's like a really huge mistake, and then freak out at your computer screen, calm down, and then go to the VA.
This is such great advice, not just from a relationship with a VA perspective. This is great team advice, right? All of these things are super important. I mean, as you expand your own business, as you grow to need a bookkeeper and a virtual assistant and so on and so forth, these are skills that you need to be a leader and someone who's in charge of a team. And so VA, you almost get to test drive it with, or, there's some training wheels. They help you out a ton, but you're kind of getting better at your leadership role without having to actually hire a full-time person, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And saves you money in the long run too.
Yeah.
A few other quick ones, pay them on time. We've got bills and expenses too. Don't make us come chasing you for our money. That's just not cool. Yeah. If something happens and you hit a tight spot, just be open and honest with the VA. This is what happened. I'll get you paid. This is what day I'm going to pay you. I've even had it happen in my own businesses. A client's payment fell through for me. I couldn't pay my team, and I let them know, and they were all fine. Give clear instructions, especially in the beginning. Don't by the time Minette and I were at 3-4 years in, she'd just say, I want a webinar, and say, okay. And I just go take it and run with it. And she didn't have to give me any more instruction. Yeah. This is the title, this is the date and time, and I would do everything else. Yeah. At the beginning, it wasn't like that. We had to have multiple conversations about things. So just make sure you give very clear instructions, realistic deadlines. Don't send me something on a Sunday night and expect it done Monday morning. Chances are I'm not even going to look at it until Monday afternoon. Mm-hmm. So, be very clear or realistic with your expectations and your deadlines. Those are just a few other good tips.
Those are awesome. So curious, have you read any good books lately?
So I have, where did it go? I have this stack of books right here next to me. Oops. Oh, I don't know where it's at. I buried it somewhere. I have The Prosperous Coach.
Awesome. I love that book.
That's what I was looking for, because that's the one you recommended to me.
Yeah.
So that one's on my table to be reading. I've got Ryan I can't ever remember how to say his last name.
Levesque.
Levesque or Levique or something like that. It's pronounced really weird, not how it's spelled.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Dice, the Invisible Sales Machine, is another one that's sitting right here on my table. Jeff Walker's Launch. I've got a lot on my plate to be reading.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So anything really standing out for you in any of those right now? We ask everybody what they're reading, just because it's such a great sign. Like, so what I get from this list, right, is that how passionate you are about your own education.
So actually, I've put most of these on hold right now because I am taking Bill Barron's premium packaging course. So that's kind of taken the front run, how to create high-end packages and stuff. This book, Launch. Yeah. This is what really got me started on saying, okay, this is where I'm going to specialize, because I read this book and I was like, this is just so me. I absolutely loved it. I've got like almost every page earmarked and highlighted and underlined. So it sits next to my desk because I look for it often. It's my Bible, even though I've got his course, and I get into his course and in his transcripts and stuff. But this is a quick reference for me. So that's a really good book.
Yeah, that product launch formula stuff is super popular.
Yeah.
Everybody's all over that.
Love it.
Yeah, super
awesome.
cool.
Well, as we wrap up, Tracey, how can people find out about you and learn more about you?
Smoke signals work the best.
Perfect.
Or send you puppies.
Send me puppies. My husband's over here going, no more puppies.
So Tracey, for those of you who are listening, is a huge dog lover. So just I'm teasing her and her husband, but just know that if you love dogs, then she might be the right VA for you.
Send me puppy-related things. Yes. Just not the live puppies. I just got 2. So,
I know.
I'm up to my eyeballs in pee over here while I try and get them housebroken. It's like crazy. So the best way to reach me is my website, www.tracey, Osborne, osborne.com. So it's tracy-osborne.com. Email tracy@tracy-osborne.com.
Nice.
If you want to set up a time to just talk to me, whether it's, you want some tips on how to create that job posting for your virtual assistant, you're not quite sure what kind of VA to get, you want to talk to me about some of the things that I offer, just www.talktotracey.com.
Nice
stuff.
I love that. Talktotracey.com. And you have a free gift for everybody as well.
I do. So I have a report, 7 tips on how to work with your virtual assistant. And you can just go to tracy-osborne.com/hiring and just fill out get into my funnel.
Yeah, right. We'll share all of that in the show notes.
So, yeah.
Great stuff.
And then just the last thing I want to close with, because I think that it's really cool, is that where your passion is in one of the areas where you're growing your business, because we love to see not just the tools and strategies that you're sharing, but how you're growing. And what you're really passionate about is helping other VAs build profitable businesses.
Yeah, so coaching is my new thing. I had to get to a point in my VA business where I felt like I had hit several success factors. Been in business for almost 10 years now. I've 6 figures, multiple years in a row. So for me, those were the markers where I felt like, okay, I am now finally successful enough myself that I feel confident that I can help others. So now I teach other women how to use the skills they have to build and grow a profitable business working at home.
Yeah, I love that. Such great insights and tips. There were so many juicy tidbits today. One of my favorites was hire slow, fire fast.
Yep.
Hire slow, fire fast. And then
I never follow that one, but I always promote it.
Yeah, I love it. That one and the partner post were just really invaluable tips today. So anything else you want to share?
No, this was great. Just fantastic advice. And I hope everybody gets the chance to look into using a VA and how much they can really help your business.
Yep. And go follow Tracey online. She's got some great tips, strategies, and advice. So again, this was Tracey Osborne today. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan, along with my husband, Brad Dobson. We're the Path to Profit podcast, specifically working with creative entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out how to make consistent income in their business. And we have our next summit coming up March 24th to 26th in Los Angeles. Super excited. Called the Creative Business Summit, Dream, Design, Profit. So if you're ready to really take your business to the next next level, stop treating it like a hobby and start making consistent money, we invite you to come and play with us. And you can find out more at pathtogrowthacademy.com.
Awesome.
Hey guys. Thanks,
All right,
Tracey.
bye, Tracey. Have a great day.
Bye.